the top. I wanted to instinctively press the top button, but I just read that. I would press no if I didn't read that. Yes, experience it. Oh, and the music change instantly goes up. I decide to approach Kyron while I have some time away from the group. Even though Isaac explained everything, the man himself was still a mystery. It would probably be helpful to learn more about him and life on the
Hey,
colonies.
Delta, watch this. Yeah, I'm calling a bullseye.
Do it. Sure enough, a moment later he hits the center of the board.
Score.
Nice! He gives me a big smirk and turns to face me. I decide to ask him about the colony life and if they had guards.
Of course. If it doesn't rely on technology, we probably have it. City folk who move to the colonies always bring new ideas, too.
That is awesome then. And I didn't think too many people move away from the city
I've
nowadays.
actually seen a lot of people abandon Argus. Colonies are nothing if not welcoming.
That is nice. He walks over to the dart he just threw and pulls it out.
Wish I could say the same about the city. No matter where I go, I feel so many eyes on me, and I know they aren't just admiring my good looks.
Huh? Well, you are certainly full of yourself. When I look, it's definitely to admire your good looks. At least you don't have to worry about that with our group. Both are good. This one is certainly more flirty, but this one isn't bad either. This is as a good friend.
Right back at you, Delta. I'm really happy you chose to give me that apple. Now we're partners in crime, ready to take down Argus.
Oh, hell to the yeah. Do crime be gay.
I doubt they'll
Wait,
go
what?
down without a fight, though. But right now, their inaction borders on negligence. People are starving to death, right at their front
They
door.
are. We cannot do much about it
Where
right
I
now.
come from, you never turn down a neighbor in need. I feel like we could teach you city folk a lot about life.
Huh.
It's a bit harder when every day is a struggle.
I think eventually villages and cities will just connect. Simple as. Every day is a struggle. I ask him something that's been on my mind this entire time. The people who abandoned Argus, did they even seem to regret it?
If they do, they never really show it. I think they know what they're signing themselves up for.
Yep,
They're usually super happy at first, but then it starts to fade.
it does. After the realization that things are not as easily available, yeah,
I
I
don't
can
think
imagine
that means
it.
they regret it or they're depressed. It's more like a honeymoon period where they appreciate the freedom. The city may be beautiful, but those walls are definitely suffocating.
Oh, they
Once
are.
they can truly breathe, it's almost like they have a new lease on life. But just like all things, it quickly becomes normal and turns into routine.
Unfortunate.
Day in and day out, life on the colonies never changes.
Mm.
It's a cycle that's definitely absent in the city. As much as Argus controls you, it's still so chaotic. I never really know
And-
what's waiting for me around each corner.
And yeah, that's why I personally enjoy cities. Bigger ones at least. Because there's always something going on, something to look forward to.
It's definitely not Argus agents, though, and that makes me happy. At first, I figured it was only a matter of time before we got kicked out, but seeing the public opinion slowly sway it's actually pretty shocking.
It does sound like it.
We always thought your views aligned with Argus. Gotta say, I half expected that apple you gave me to be poisonous. It was a big risk, letting you and your friends know that I'm a zero,
Why? Why would you think it's poisonous?
but it's a risk that paid off.
Do you
Hope they
think there
continue
was
to do
some
that,
like
yeah.
micro
Our
robots
lives
in
aren't
it,
exactly
you know?
risk-free. Yet.
Of course Isaac would trust in Cypher. He's Hermes after all, or is he? Dun dun dun. Still, why would he think this apple is poisonous? Like, would he think there is like, I guess prejudice about city folks, yeah. It does make sense, to some degree. I like how he threw the word yet in there. He definitely believes in the same goals that we do. Harmony between societies. A true, genuine give and take.
Anyway, sorry for the rant. Now that I can talk, I guess I don't feel like stopping. On the streets, I was almost too scared to say a word.
I asked him what made him speak to us then.
Desperation, I suppose. Or at the very least, hunger was a good motivator. But after all this time, I can't help but feel guilty.
Well, hunger is indeed a good motivator, trust me. When people are hungry, when people need sleep, when people need anything, they will do anything to get it. And as fast as possible. Guilty? How so?
Well, I don't want to brag, but I'm pretty resilient. I reckon I could last a lot longer without food than some of the others, so in my mind, sometimes I wish you ran across somebody else.
Alright. He looks a little sad, but it's completely... He looks a little sad, but it's completely
And
understandable.
if one of my people do starve to death on the streets, I know that in my heart, I'll just wish it was me instead. So let's make sure that doesn't happen.
That is quite altruistic way of thinking about it, but at the same time, and forgive me saying that, but I do hope one person dies. Out of rebels, so to speak. And the reason is because I want Argus to take a huge hit on their visage, on the way they are seen. I want them to be properly seen by public as somebody bad, somebody that lets people die, and somebody that just doesn't care about folks, you know? And as cruel as it is, one person for the lives of everyone else, I think that's a fair deal. Obviously, I agree, since our goals are the same. Of course, it would be preferable if nobody died, right? It would be the best possible outcome, just win-win after all. Nobody dies, everyone lives, everyone is happy. Sometimes, though, it's not really a possibility. We all wanted the conflict in the streets to end without death. It just remains to be seen who acts first, Argus or Sypha. It was like a standoff in the Old West, both ready to shoot but living in the moment where neither gun is smoking. We are just the observers, wondering which one will be left
I gotta
standing.
say though, I feel like my life is complete these days. It's not like I never dreamed of living life in the city, you know? My vision just told me that it would be an impossible dream.
By the way, night, Astro. Soon your time is coming, huh? We're going on for way longer than I expected. Right, in his vision, he's older and still living in on
When I
colony.
first had that vision, I was absolutely devastated. It's like my future was taken away from me. At least the one I wanted. Made me feel like giving up. Like any attempt at fighting it would be worthless.
Alright.
It took me such a long time to accept what I saw. Spent so many years trying to prove it wrong and see the city. I remember the first time I got to see what was behind those walls.
Well, how did you feel about
I'd
it
go
though?
into the forest and try to find the tallest tree.
To watch
When I
this
got to the
stream,
top, I'd
I'll
peek
stay
over the
awake.
walls.
Aww, that is nice of you, but I'm not
Awesome.
sure how long it will go for. Thank you for that, Astro. Still, we will most likely finish this culmination
I almost cried.
and then end.
It was actually kind of pathetic. Just a simple reminder of what I'd never be able to have. I'd look at the people with a mixture of jealousy and hatred.
Alright.
They were kind of small since I was so high up, but I saw their faces. And I knew that a lot of
Dang it,
struggles
I
we
thought you
faced in the
finished.
colonies didn't exist for you. And because you weren't aware of that fact, you'd always take it for granted. It sucks so much to see people live your dream and not even appreciate it.
Now you're finished. I can imagine that would be
One of my favorite
difficult.
things to do was watch planes take off, just soaring the skies between cities. What an amazing sight. Told myself that one day, I'd get to experience all of that for myself.
That is an interesting dream, to be honest. But I can relate to that in a weird, different way. For me, the dream was always to go out somewhere in the village or whatever, a place that has a really, really well-lit sky, and just look at it during night. Like, this is so serene to look at, the stars being so clearly seen. And unfortunately, there are not many places out there that got low light pollution anymore. It's like the villages are bigger and bigger with more and more light for safety of people. Same goes for cities. Being able to see some of the constellations out there, it's just almost impossible in the city nowadays. Like, best you can see sometimes is what's his name, Archimedes, the Big and Small Dipper, of course. But wait, what was the name of that one particular constellation with the red mist in it? God damn it, I forgot what it's named.
Despite
But yeah,
my
still,
vision saying otherwise, I
there is
kept
a
pushing
lot of
forward.
constellation out
So
there,
I
and
hope
you cannot
can
really see them
understand
all,
what I mean when
especially
I
in the
say I feel
sky
complete.
of the city
Being in the
lights.
city, being on a plane, it's just all I ever really wanted.
Alright.
We always suffer for the choices of those that came before us. I never really got to know my parents, but I think that's for the best. I was stuck there because of them.
Oh,
They'd be an easy target for my hatred.
alright. I see. Freaking. Okay, so he doesn't. He's not grateful for that. And yeah, I bet many people in the villages, in the colonies, don't see themselves as being fit for the colony. It's understandable they want to go back because, well, it was not their
And
choice.
having an easy target for your hatred just stifles your own growth.
It
And
does.
maybe that's why Argus and city folk are still so old-fashioned, clinging to this belief that the system makes you superior.
It doesn't make anyone superior, but, well, it doesn't make you superior, it just makes your life easier. Because you will have access to simple things, such as food, services, being able to work. I never felt like the system or city life made me feel
And that's why
superior.
I'm certain I've chosen the right group. This might sound weird, but there was something different about you.
Alright.
Not just you, but the rest of the gang too. I felt like I could approach you. It
Aww.
was the first time I ever got friendly vibes from someone in the city. So when I picked up on them, I had to take action almost immediately. Even if I get caught, at least you helped me check a few things off my list.
That is awesome then.
No matter how short or long this lasts, I still got to live in the city. And not only that, but I got to be inside a plane too. It's all
Nice.
thanks to you, Delta. Can't deny it.
Aww.
I guess I'm just glad that I didn't have an easy target for my hatred. It allowed me to grow and meet people who I can love and appreciate. A real, true group of friends. I don't think I'll ever forget you or the rest of them.
Oh, I bet you won't forget us, and especially
Oh,
me.
really? Well, you might have to get in line. I'm not exactly an outcast on the colonies. Got a few people vying for my...
Oh boy, vowing for his hand? That's such an odd way of putting it. But given his personality and appearances, I totally understand. Oh, there is also the voice, definitely the voice.
Anyway, thanks for the chat, Delta. You want to head back to the group and keep this night going? It's still pretty early. Maybe we can all raise our hands again.
I nod, since this time seems like a pretty good stopping point. Now that I know him more, things seem completely different. There's no longer sliver of doubt that we are doing anything wrong. Kyron was just like us, and he should be able to live the life he wanted. Whether that was in the city or the colony, it should be his choice to make. I still have some questions for Kyron, but nothing immediately pressing. It was more like, how did he get into the city? Him or friend must have had ties to Cypher and Hermes. But from what he said, I doubt it's him. It must be someone else. We sit back down at the table, and the group quickly assembles. But the man who felt like an outsider now feels like a true friend, and I really hope this